G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared. How you doing, bud? Not the best, I can
I'm
tell.
very frustrated, tired, and echoey.
So you want to tell people what's going on? Because they're gonna just as we're about to buy all these tickets to go to Citizen Card, what's happened to you?
My computer has died.
Yeah,
it is dead as a doornail. It is,
So ironically, he's coming today to us on the mobile phone, but he actually looks clearer than ever, because he's on the on a mobile phone connection, not on his normal internet connection. So it's kind of funny.
I'm on 5G, not broadband, not on the national broadband, and I'm probably clearer than we've ever been. Probably means I won't drop out.
Yeah, which is probably a good thing too. Right, so we're gonna have a look.
Although I've got to admit, instead of having my massive screen, I've got like.
He's compensating today. He's going the opposite way. Right, so we're going to do the Mirai Pulse, Algared. So, I'm confident if I'm compensating. Yes, you are. You're comfortable. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
So, Mirai Pulse, Algared, this kind of really surprised me. I think we'll just cut to the chase right at the bottom here. But, yeah, $25. This really surprised me. And I think it really surprised you as well, yeah?
Yeah, it's certainly in the price range I was expecting or thought it would be. I still think it should have been less. And I said that yesterday to you when we were talking. I said I still think it should have been the same price as a PTV, which is a two-person golf cart, and that was $10.
Yeah.
Well,
besides the Merlin, it's really the kind of, well, I know you can call the PTV a vehicle now, but it was the first one they've kind of really sold at that kind of price. So $25 is on par with the Merlin.
But and when I compare it to a Merlin, it raises the same question you always raise. Yeah, it's a vehicle. I can only ride it for speed, whereas on the Merlin, I can fly I can go to a station in a Merlin. I can travel all over the planet on a Merlin. Yeah. Sure, I can't do quantum, but I can still do a lot more in a Merlin than I can on a bike. Yeah. So and the Merlin's got more firepower. And so if the Merlin's $25, there's no way that these should be $25. Yeah. Regardless of how cool they are, and regardless of the fact they're a beautiful LTI token. Yeah. I think so. I'm in game here. Morning has just come up, which is perfect timing because it was nighttime when I was here before. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. The secret to this bike and its possible success is the fact that it's so tiny. I think the popularity of this is going to be astronomical compared to other hover bikes because you can fit it in so many more things. Like I've seen photos of this in Ramblers, Titans. The fact they said it takes up the space of 2 SCU. Yeah. That means you could get 2 of those onto a standard Pisces.
It'd be great if you could do it vertical, because then you could even take one on, say, something like a Redeemer,
just standing in normal, you can get 2 onto a Pisces, 1 on each side. Yeah. On a standard Pisces. Yeah. That's massive for a little. So, you think of it, the Pisces that can do quantum can take 2 bikes, and it has passenger seats. Yeah. It's perfect for that little pilot and passenger. Both of them both have one of those and go exploring or go bunkers.
As long as you don't drive too crazily and send the bike flying all over the place. But yeah, I get your point. So these are my actual 2 favorite skins, by the way. There are a couple of skins, but most of them are swing and miss. They're just variants of silver and slight differences. Yeah, the default on this is like a candy apple, I think you would call it, and this is kind of like a red apple, and I kind of prefer that one. This one is the concierge one, the Dominion one. I kind of prefer that. Between the 2 bikes though, Algared, which one are you kind of more interested in, the racer or the gunner? They both have merit, by the way.
I'd probably say, based on the knowledge that we've got the Copians, probably the gun one.
Yeah, I think this is going to get the more use because you can take it into places and use the gun on it.
And use the gun to help clear stuff. Yeah. The racing one, again, I could see if you're doing, if you've got your little backpack with a cargo, half at 1 SCU or whatever it was, can box on it. I could see you doing box missions and racing around on that, maybe. But yeah,
So it's got yeah, it's got little fuel ports and stuff. I don't know why this one opens on this side. I haven't figured out what that port is there. Looks like might be a fuse or some kind of other thing they're going to put in at a later date, but there's nothing there for now. You've also got little components either side. Someone's coming in by the sounds of it. Hopefully I don't get taken out here, but we'll see. Yeah, either side. This is probably the most interesting one though. The whole... Yeah, which is kind of cool. And you can tell, yeah, the whole thing's just been built around its actual components.
Yeah.
Hang on, someone's
I did like the...
Sorry about that.
I thought for a second it was my phone playing up.
Yeah.
Because I heard...
Yeah, that's all good.
But I do like the way they built the components around what would have been the fuel tank. So I do like the way they built it. It is a very, very, there's kudos to the builders. They've done a great job. And saying the bike isn't worth $25, it's no criticism of the work. If you were just rating the work, the bike's price on the work because it was, valuable, you'd say it was worth it. But the fact that it's electronic goods, the fact that you're selling multiple of them, I still think the cheaper you make it, the more you're going to sell. And I still think compared to other vehicles and other other ships, it doesn't do as much as the others, and that means the price should be low. And I still think 25 is too much. Like I said, I thought 10 to 15 was a reasonable price for it, up to about 25, but I expected it to go 40. So it's a good price, but it could be lower.
Yeah. Look, for me, because other things exist, it kind of shows how expensive. You and I have said this for ages. Vehicles are just way too expensive for what they are, and I think the thing that really kind of saves the thing is because it's so small, right? It's. I can just see a lot of people, especially people that have like a starter ship.
Yeah.
This is going to speak to them because they can now have a starter vehicle and a starter ship. And it's a good little combo. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't have some kind of pack. And if they eventually end up having like a Mirai starter ship, I can so see that as a pack they need to sell. You pick your starter Pulse and your starter Mirai starter ship and bang, off you go. That'll be a very, 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 very popular pack, I think.
I could see an even better starter pack. You do the Mirai starter ship, the Mirai Pulse, a spacesuit, and a gun.
Yeah.
You have everything. Spacesuit with backpack and a weapon, and you do the whole thing of the kit, along with the game and along with and that would be what, forward 25, say 50, $60, $70 for that starter kit. And I could see people paying for that. If almost a complete starter kit with a ship, a vehicle, a suit, a gun, and a backpack.
The other comment that I'd probably give here is the bikes have probably been the better they've ever been, but there's something very drifty about them. When they get hit, I'm going to try and do it now, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull this off. But when you get to a certain height, they just stay up for ages. And then sometimes they'll come down like with a complete thud and just completely get destroyed. This gun being bespoke is also interesting because you can't change it, obviously. So if you wanted something different, the aiming is a bit weird. It's not on a gimbal, so it's just firing straight ahead. So again, with that driftiness I'm talking about, you can't, like, if someone's on the ground and you want to shoot them, you can't just tip the bike and shoot down. It's kind of hard to aim at the moment, so it's a bit goofy. So I
imagine you'd want to be, on the ground level, facing them rather than kind of jumping all over the place.
Yeah, so I think there's some work to be done, is what I'm trying to say, with it down the track. And we all know that all the vehicles are not in the best state right now, and that will improve. I'm probably going to die here, which I don't want to do, because then we have to fly all the way back here again. But yeah, They are quite zippy. They are very similar to all the other bikes. It's just the size. The size really makes this more competitive than anything else we've seen. And it's probably it's not the fastest. It's not the quickest. No. It's not the most deadly. It's just the smallest, the most compact.
It's the most compact, and that means you can get it into places where no other bike can go.
Yeah, that's it.
And you're right. That is the thing that is going to appeal to so many people. And you know, like, you know, you're doing a bunker mission by yourself. You take your Pisces. You take one bike. Yep. You've still got 2 SU of cargo in the hold where you can put it, as well as the ship's internal storage that you can use. That's a massive amount that you can play around with as a starter ship, just doing a bunker mission. You got to mate. You can still do the.
See what I mean?
Yeah, you can still do the mission. You know, and still use the ship's internal cargo, and it just gives so much variety, and you can't do that with any other bike, or with ease.
So I am deliberately showing some of the problems bikes have at the moment here. So it will all get fixed eventually, but again, you got those. It's kind of a starter bike coming in with starter players. They're probably not going to want to put up with this shit, you know. We have a lot of problem with casuals as it is, so you know. Yeah. I don't know how many of them are going to put up with this stuff, but yeah, watch how zippy this one is in comparison. So it's noticeably faster, and if you have them in a race side by side, this one wins hands down. But again, if you've been on any of the other bikes, it's not that fast compared to some of the others. So yeah, but you're starting to see the.
Doesn't feel as fast, or definitely
it isn't, and it doesn't feel as fast. But you start to see the air problem I was talking about now. Like this thing's pretty much flying at this point.
I've got to admit that's one of the things I dislike about the bikes is the fact that they all seem to fly. And I really, you know, whether they're hoverbikes or not, I don't think they should fly. I think they should be. But for one, I'd like to see just keep its uniqueness as the Dragonfly, where it's both a spaceship and a starship and a bike. Kind of that crossover. And I know a couple of. I think the Nox is supposed to be similar. Yeah. But I wish the Dragonfly was kind of unique in that sense.
Yeah, I think, as I said to you yesterday, because we were talking about this yesterday, I think it's because they want to give something different between the bikes and the ground vehicles. They want to give them a little panaz because they don't have anything otherwise, you know. But we'll see.
But I think, you know, to talk about what we were talking previously, it's the compactness of the bike.
Yeah.
Compared to a vehicle, the compactness of a bike compared to a PTV or an Ursa or a G12 or a Spartan or a Nova. That's what should be the difference. It's that, you know, they're open cab, whereas the vehicles, we make them closed cab. But the advantage of that is they're so much smaller, they can go into different places. They should tend to be faster than the vehicles because they are, you know, smaller and zippier and the rest of it. So I can see ways to make them different without giving them flight, without turning them into ships.
I think the style of the bike really does fit Mirai. It really has captured that Japanese motorbike look. I think they've done really, really well aesthetically. As you were saying, the model itself is brilliant. It's just that you got to put it against other vehicles, and when you do that, it just drops. Yeah. But again, I think its price from CIG is them recognizing that it's not as big and as complicated as other bikes, and we've been saying that for years. Oh, server error. Well, that might be a good time to drop back to the regular scheduled program.
Discussion channel and why in this bias later.
Yeah, so it's a usual affair, you know, LTI token for most of us veteran backers. If you've got some bigger ships, then you don't need the smaller bike. But I can totally see it being viable for someone that just has like a Cutter or an Aurora or something like that. Aurora probably not so much, but I'm pretty sure someone would be able to get in an Aurora if they tried. I haven't. But I'm pretty sure you'd be able to.
You saw on the video they had one shoved in an Aurora.
Yeah.
Don't think it particularly fits well, but I would hope we'd get is with the Aurora's containers is that they actually open at the back. You know, like the ones that at the when you're doing Siege of Orison and you go in and you have to open the container. I'd like to see those containers open at the back, and then you could actually store your bike in the container.
It'd be great for a little mission, wouldn't it? Where you've got to get a cargo delivery place and deliver it somewhere, and then they tell you to open it, and you open it, and it's a bike, and it's the next part of the mission. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Now ride this to point B and deliver this box. Or delivers this document. So I could see that, but even just for personal use, the fact if we could the containers we buy, you could open them up like that and then put stuff, literally physically put stuff in. And I hope that comes down the line. I hope that's the plan. That would mean you could actually have a container on the bottom of an Aurora or a Mustang and open it up and literally put your bike in there.
Yep.
And then close.
Absolutely.
That would be chef's kiss, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I almost wonder if there's another place now for somehow to pack this vertically in certain shit, because I'm thinking of the Reliant Tanner or the Reliant and the Redeemer. They both have 2 SCU, but it's vertical. If you could somehow pack this vertical, it would be perfect on some of those as well. But I don't know, that's probably a bit of a pipe dream.
When the Reliant is in the unload stage, it's not vertical, is it? It's horizontal.
They're vertical when you load. They're both vertical. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
how long it's been since I've been in a Reliant. Whenever I think of a Reliant, I think of the Reliant Robin. You know, the car, Mr. Bean's car.
Yeah. So how long? So what do you want to hear from the people in the comments below, Algared?
Well, what do you like? What do you dislike about the bike? Do you think it should have been around the same price as the PTV? Are you happy with the $25 price?
Yeah.
Why are you happy with the price? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages?
I think most people are going to be happy just because it's cheaper than any of the other vehicles. But I'd like to know in the comments do you see it as a starter bike for like starter people, or are you going to pick one like I've heard rumors of people that have picked up like 10 of these for LTI tokens. It is clearly a very good LTI token heading into Invictus. If you don't have one, I'd highly recommend one. But yeah, I think for most people, it's, like there are other vehicles that are out there that'll be better. Like if I'm not looking at this as an LTI token and I'm looking at it as vehicle, as soon as you have a bigger ship that can take a bigger vehicle, then you're better off with a bigger vehicle, because as you've seen, it does match its size, right? The only vehicle I think that would be kind of worse than this would be the PTV. And Algared, you can tell me if you think I'm wrong here, but when they get around to reworking that, I think that'll be better than it is now, because once they put the components in it, they get the speed working properly. I actually think it'll be quite a good little vehicle.
I get the idea that the STV is actually the updated PTV.
Yeah.
The PTV itself, ideally, should be quite sturdy and should be hard to destroy, because the way it was built, the design of it was built to protect miners from cave-ins.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be reliable. It is grey cat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have weapons, but it does have space for 2 people. So you've got a trade-off with say the Mirai Pulse with the weapon and the racing variant. There is nothing to say you couldn't have a PTV as a racing variant.
Yep.
In fact, we used to have the obstacle course, you'll recall.
Yep.
But
this is a buyer's guide. This is a buyer guide on the Pulse, and you've just got a massive friend of PTV.
All right. But when you compare them, I think they're comparable.
Yeah.
And there's pluses in one, and that things that one has that the other doesn't, and then things that the other has. And so I think in terms of price, they are comparable, and they should be comparable, and that's my frustration.
Maybe it means when they rework the PTV, we'll get a price increase. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, possible. Yeah. Possible.
All right, with that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went the extra mile at the end of the video on Patreon. All right, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.